Hello again, Great Danes. In the previous lesson, we looked at the heating of the atmosphere, the transfer of the heat in the atmosphere. Now we'll also look at specific factors that affect the temperature at different places around the world. So there are 6 factors that affect temperature. The first one is your latitude. You have your aspect of a slope, ocean currents, distance from the sea, your altitude, and your seasonal change. These all affect the temperature of the Earth in different places. So when you look at your seasonal change, the position of the sun changes during the year. The sun's position changes. It does not stay the same during the year. So when it is summer in the southern hemisphere, the sun lies very near to the equator. So we then experience the highest temperatures south of the equator. However, during a northern hemisphere summer, the sun lies directly above the Tropic of Cancer. So the highest temperatures will then occur north of the Tropic of Cancer. So there you can see an example of the sun and its different position as the sun rotates. You can see that during our summer it's closer to the equator on the southern side, and in the northern hemisphere it will be closer to the Tropic of Cancer, so they will have higher temperatures that side. That is how that rotation and the position of the sun changes, causing this difference in temperatures in different places. Then you also have latitude. So temperatures along the equator are very high because they receive direct rays of sunlight. And because of the direct sunlight at the equator, the surrounding areas also experience high temperatures because that heat energy spreads. That heat energy then spreads. Now the temperature at the poles are low because the sun's rays that hit there are oblique. So it's not direct rays, it's coming in at an angle, it's slanting, it's oblique. It's not direct sunlight that is coming in. So they strike at a low angle. So the heat energy has to be spread over a much larger area. And therefore the temperatures are very low in the polar regions because of them being spread over such a large area. So this will look like this. There you can see your direct rays of the sun hitting, and you can know it's going to be hot on the equator. The heat energy will transfer to the surrounding areas and it receives that direct sunlight because it's also a smaller area that needs to be heated, and it's heated intensely. Whereas those oblique rays hitting the poles, they are heated much less intensely because they come in at this oblique angle and then it has to spread over a far larger area, thus causing it to be less warm as a result of the latitude. So now that's already 2 factors affecting temperature. You have your seasonal change and you have latitude. But then you also have the aspect of a slope. So aspect means the direction in which a slope faces. That is the aspect of a slope. In which direction is the slope facing? So slopes that face the equator receive direct sunlight and would then be warmer. But slopes that face the poles will receive oblique sunlight as well. So also again this angle sunlight. So this low angle sunlight, and they will thus be colder. So in the southern hemisphere, north facing slopes are the ones that receive the direct sunlight, and in the northern hemisphere, south-facing slopes receive direct rays of sunlight, as they are the ones facing the equator, and thus will be warmer. So this is what the aspect of the slope will look like. There you can see the sun's rays. You can see in the southern hemisphere, our northern slope receives direct sunlight. In the northern hemisphere, the southern slope receives direct sunlight. And you can see where the other sides would receive the oblique sunlight. In other words, they would be less warm. Then you also have your ocean currents. So oceans have warm and cold currents. On the east coast of South Africa, we have what is known as the warm Mozambique, or also the warm Agulhas. And this is a current flowing southwards away from the equator, warming those surrounding areas. Whereas on our west coast, we have what is known as the cold Benguela. This is a current which flows northwards, flowing towards the equator, and it cools down those surrounding areas. So the air above the warm or cold ocean currents will assume the characteristics of the surface where it is resting. Therefore, air above warm water will be warm, and the air above the cold water will be cold, thereby changing the climates of the areas respectively. So areas next to warm water will then be warmer. Areas next to cold water will be colder, as these ocean currents have that effect on the temperatures. So the prevailing winds change the temperatures of the areas depending on the temperature then of, as I said, the ocean near that area. So warm air, again, warm temperatures. Cold air, cold temperatures. All of this is the impact of ocean currents. Here's a little view of where you can find the warm and the cold ocean currents throughout the world. As you can see, there are numerous warm and cold ocean currents, and all of these have an impact on the various temperatures around the world. They are factors in this. Another thing, not just ocean currents, but also the distance from the sea has an impact on temperature. So land and sea surfaces will react differently to heating and cooling. So large water masses heat up and cool down much slower than land surfaces. Why do you think this is? Because even though the sun's rays penetrate the water, it takes longer for the sun's rays to heat up an area of water, and this is normally because of the size. And because water is also constantly moving, the heat is constantly distributed, which affects the surrounding area's temperature. Also, land is solid and opaque, so the heat can't penetrate through it. And it takes a shorter time then for land and soil to heat up. So soil is a very poor conductor of heat. That's why during midday, if you were to walk outside barefoot, you would definitely feel the heat, because soil is a poor conductor of heat. Now, places along the coast don't experience major differences between their highest and their lowest temperatures, and we know this as maritime climate, whereas places inland experiences vast differences between their minimum, the nighttime, and the maximum, your daytime temperatures. And this is known as continental climate. These two definitions are also very important to be able to discern. What is your maritime climate? That's the climate experienced at coastal areas. What is continental climate? The climate that is experienced inland, cities like Joburg, Pretoria, those areas. So the inland areas, and it's what they experience. Then you have altitude. So altitude, as you know by now, that's height. So in this specific case, when we speak of altitude, we mean the height above sea level. So temperatures change with an increase in height. We've spoken about you have a positive and a negative lapse rate. So we know this change with an increase in height as a lapse rate. So the higher you go into the atmosphere, the colder it gets, because the air is thinner at a higher altitude, and so less heat gets absorbed. Sometimes, though, temperatures increase with height instead of decreasing, and this is known as a temperature inversion. Another definition for you to please jot down in your notebook and take note of a temperature inversion. This is basically your temperatures now increase instead of decreasing. So that would be your negative lapse rate, your temperature inversion. That is your temperature inversion. Now, a little activity for you. See if you're able to correct these sentences. Identify the mistake and then correct it. Here are the sentences. So please pause the video, correct these sentences, and once you've corrected them, then come back and check yourself and see whether or not you are on the right track or not. Welcome back. Check your answers against these. Let me know in the comment section how many you got correct. Have a great day.